Yes, there are thousands of lights on this layout. Some of the buildings have as many as 400 lights if you count all the individual LEDs. But it's all done for effect, like a stage production. The power for the incandescent bulbs on the layout is provided by Malibu 300-watt transformers with circuit breaker from Home Depot. They are designed for outdoor lighting. The output is 12 volts AC. Perfect for running 18, 16, 14, and 12 volt bulbs. And I particularly like a softer light in many of my cities and streets, so 16 volt bulbs are powered by 12 volts. The bulbs will last longer and it gives a softer light. I have numerous types of LED strings that need 12 volt DC. The Miller signs need 4.5 or 5 volt DC. A friend of mine really understands where electrons go and why, and he said, you need a computer power source that provides 500 watts of power. That powers all of my DC needs on the layout. You open up the computer power source, and inside are too many wires to count, and there's a diagram, and you pick out a certain couple of wires that provides 9 volt DC, which I needed, 12 volt DC, which I need, and 5 volt DC I need. And there's your power source. Now with all the transformers I use for lighting, there is a maximum the transformer should be loaded with. So if a 300 watt transformer at 12 volts out, 25 amps is max. A safe way to do it is to power it up only to 75% of full load. So if it's a 300 watt transformer doing 12 volts, I take it up to 16 amps of power max. All the buildings are fused. So if the building pulls 4 amps of power, I put a 5 amp slow blow fuse in line as a safety precaution. And so that lets me know if the building turns off, I've got something. I need to pull the building, look at the wiring, and evaluate it. When I first started the layout, I didn't understand load per gauge of wire. And I was putting too much amperage on 20 gauge, even 18 gauge wires. And so again, one of the guys in the group came over and said, we need to make some changes here. There's a safety issue. And he gave me a chart of how many amps the different gauge of wires can carry. And I follow that religiously in any of the buildings I build.
Bill's power scheme for the lights, signs, and buildings works very well. Track power is also very important to a big layout like this. Bill uses several MTH Z4000s mounted on pull-out drawers for easy access. He's installed MTH DCS, however he runs the trains in conventional mode most of the time.
Well, I wanted to build a view of a city in the distance. And to do that, the scale of the building has to be smaller than O gauge, quarter inch. And I decided to use HO 187th buildings for this scene. I wanted to duplicate the view of being in New Jersey and looking at New York. I wanted to see a city from the distance. And when you do that, the city becomes two-dimensional, becomes flat. I take the wooden structure I'm going to build it on to the workbench, sit there, and I lay out all the structures, pieces of bridge, pieces of trestle, the buildings. And then you put all the scenery in, foliage. Then you stand it up, and if you walk 10 feet away, well, that looks a little goofy. But if you walk 30 feet away, it looks like New York City or a city from the distance, and you've got your forced perspective. And now it gives a very nice backdrop for that area of the layout. Behind the big red bridge, you see this distant city. And you know it's distant because it's smaller.
That HO scale city on the wall highlights another construction technique which Bill has used to good advantage around the layout. Over in that corner of the basement is a storage closet. Bill mounted one of the scenery panels on the door, which perfectly camouflages it. He's done the same thing at the other end of the layout, just east of Tower City. Access to the rear of the layout is easy and invisible thanks to these unique access doors.
This is a scenery tip from my train group, a very handy idea for applying scenery to hillsides, cliffs, and vertical surfaces. It's difficult to do on the layout, but easy to prepare for here in the workshop. You need construction paper, some heavy brown paper that we cut in squares, any size you like. These are 8-inch squares. Then glue gun is used to apply the glue, and a choice of 2 materials is used. This is woodland scenic clump foliage, which looks like this, which we're doing today. If you want background that appears as small trees, you can use woodland scenic foliage clusters. They come in different colors, but you break them up into balls so when they're applied to a surface it looks like a group of distant trees. Here I've gone ahead and done most of this square, but we're going to finish it off. And it's easy to do. Just apply your glue to the surface, and you have to get glue over the entire surface. And then you grab a handful of material, put it over the glue. You have to get enough on there because the trick of all this is pushing down firmly with your hand. And when you feel the glue come through and burn your hand, you don't have enough material. So you push down, hold it for a little bit, and you're finished. And I've glued a little bit to my hand. But then the final check of whether you have a good scenery pad is to shake it. And after you shake it, it still looks like the scenery you want to create, then you've done a good job. If you shake it, it all falls off. You didn't do a good job gluing. Your glue dried ahead of time or you used the wrong kind of glue. But that's an easy way to make pads. You develop a stack of these, then you take them into your cliff and hillside and wherever you want to put a little glue on the back and onto the hillside, and it's finished.